The fifth house of love, relationships, and sexual partners. Using Khloe Kardashian's sidereal birth chart. The fifth house represents love, relationships, and sexual partners. Remember, I said the sexual partner stuff first. Me personally, I can easily find out how someone meets or when they would meet their boyfriends, girlfriends, which can let me know if someone is in a relationship with a future spouse. I can even identify if a relationship is just a sexual relationship. See, most people don't even know the difference between a sexual partner than a boyfriend. Luckily, astrology can show. You even got people saying the seventh house represents relationships, which is baffling to me. One thought the seventh house represents only spouse, fiancé. But hey, y'all, give those people your money, not me. Let's look at Khloe's sidereal chart first. There is a Mercury, Sun, Moon, Venus conjunction in the fifth house. Additionally, Jupiter is in the 11th house, aspecting the fifth house. Obviously, all of these planets giving energy to the fifth house can easily indicate a person that will have children, lots of relationships, or lots of sexual partners. Saturn or a planet like Ketu is restricting or limiting Khloe Kardashian from going into relationships, especially early in her life up to age 27 at the least. This is when I would look at the tropical and moon chart for further information. In her moon chart, she does have Saturn right in her fifth house, which could cause many things like someone not feeling comfortable or non-interests in wanting to be in relationships. It could cause a delay or preventing Khloe from going into relationships early in her life, which is ironic, right? Since so many planets are in her fifth house, you would think that would give her multiple children. Don't sleep on the moon chart. Surprisingly, I don't see people into Vedic astrology using the moon chart. Don't worry, the copycats are gonna follow my pursuits eventually. Let's focus on her sidereal chart now. First, I have to break down the 4 planets conjunct in her fifth house. I'm not being paid by Khloe to do this, so I'm summarizing things. I'm not even gonna go in depth with the nakshatras or show how she meets her boyfriends. The planets are in the Gemini sign, which shows communication becoming a big role in her relationships. Moon represents the mental state, how we think, our emotions, the mother, etc. Mercury is communication of all forms, sales, marketing, etc. Sun represents our fathers, I think, even the step or adopted fathers too, I'm not sure. Sun represents our ego, what we like to boss around, how we express ourselves, etc. Venus shows what we love, what we are attracted to, whether for relationships or not. I look at Venus as a planet that shows what turns us on. Venus represents relationships, etc. Easy, since I mentioned the father and mother, you can tell that her parents influence her. Relationships or sexual partnerships. You look and see Venus rules her 4th house of mother. So now mother is going to her boyfriends or girlfriends. The mother's influence won't be too bad, because it shows the mother doing lots of communication to Khloe's boyfriends. A big problem is that her mother would try to display her dominance to her boyfriends. Due to the sun's influence, she displays this dominance through her communication, which can cause ego conflicts between Khloe's mother and her boyfriends. But her mother will also love Khloe's relationships due to the Venus influence. She won't hate her boyfriends. Chris would love talking to them as well. Whenever moon is conjunct sun, that indicates a narcissistic personality, because it shows someone that often thinks about their ego, often thinking about how they can put themselves first, being independent. The problem is Khloe outputs that energy onto her boyfriends or relationships. She'll use relationships and make it about herself. She'll make the relationship revolve around her needs. How this happens is through her communication due to the Mercury and Gemini influence. She'll use relationships and make it about herself. She'll make the relationship revolve around her needs. This means boyfriends have to communicate to Khloe by making the relationships about her. They almost have to be clingy or worship Khloe. This means she needs constant communication, phone calls or texts. If this was the 1800s, she needs letters. In relationships, she'll get this constant communication, A problem is the planets in the fifth house will describe how her boyfriends interact with her, which, due to the sun's influence, her boyfriends are independent and they aren't going to like her telling them what to do, which will cause ego conflicts, lol, and no one is gonna listen to each other's commands. I'd know when all of this stuff happens. Venus influence in this conjunction will make her like the thoughts or feeling of being in a relationship. It will make her like going out on dates too, but due to the sun's influence, she will love making the dates about her, or she wants control of the romance in her relationships. She wants to determine where she goes out on dates. Again, Venus influence over the fifth house might make a lesbian situation or sex with a female. Additionally, since Venus represents relationships and what we love, add in the sun's influence. This can show a person that wants NGTS boyfriends or sexual partners that are independent. She will like independent boyfriends anyways. She herself wants to be independent in relationships and have control over it. I can go on all day about this conjunction. I haven't even talked about the house lords or rulerships. I can go on all day about this conjunction. I haven't even talked about the house lords or rulerships. They would factor into her relationships as well. I haven't talked about the nakshatras either. For example, Moon in Mrigashira clearly shows Khloe would stalk the people she dates. Lots of the stalking would happen on social media. Shoot's social media has a huge impact on her relationships. A way that she is romantic is through communication, especially on social media like video calling. Moon represents her mother, so her mother might even stalk Khloe's boyfriends. This stalking occurs especially during her moon in Tardashes. Her most recent moon Antardasha was June 9, 2016 to October 9, 2017. The reason she got cheated on a lot, the answer is in her tropical chart. Follow me on the other apps. I'm out.